So, James, what I seem to... I've been trying to understand the principles that you've been talking about, and what I get a sense is that I guess I'm looking for a tool or a technique.
Okay.
What you're actually describing is that pure awareness or consciousness or awareness is in my kind of ordinary day language, that awareness in itself, being aware of an issue, being aware of something, pure awareness, as opposed to I know about it or I'm aware that I have this habit. But there's some quality of awareness which almost like a laser, when brought to bear down onto something which we want to change, which is not of our natural conditioning, not of our natural way of being, will help to heal and resolve that issue.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. That's right. And because you're looking to move from a point of judging yourself, what we're calling stage 2, into a point of being and allowing yourself, you can only achieve that through the tools of that pure being and allowing. You can't use judging tools to do that, because otherwise you just get into more of the same.
Yes.
So there's a subtle distinction between free choice, genuine choice. We think we have free will, but it's a conditioned free will. So we need to understand genuine free choice from conscious free will as a distinction from what we think is choice, but then we get back into unconsciousness because we get attached and we're in fear that we won't achieve this thing. So if I allow myself to continue with the fear that I won't get slim, then I won't get slim, because every time if I ask myself from a position of choice, if I ask my deeper self, I just make a choice, I want to get slimmer, then I can gently move towards that. If I have a fear that I'm not going to, then rather than my whole self moving towards that, my conscious fear-based mind is going to throw rocks in the road to cause problems and make me incongruent, so I'm at odds with myself. So it's kind of like two plans going on at once. The deeper self, my true self, who I am, has got a plan for what it wants to do to get me there, and then the conscious mind, because it's got all these fears of, I won't make it, I'm afraid I won't achieve, or this slimness, or give up this alcohol, whatever it is, gets feared, comes in, and it creates a whole plan of its own. So you've got an incongruence. And in order to be a person who's at one with themselves and at peace, you essentially need to be one person with one plan. So we need to understand that the conscious mind is there to make a choice, and then let that go. We've made a choice. That's all we have to do. If we're still in fear, then we need to realize that we're still in judgment of ourselves in slightly different ways. So you're saying it's, I might still be fat next week. Well, yes, that's okay. As an inherent thing, that's okay. We don't want to judge that. We need to. Can you see that's a charge? That's an emotional charge conflict. We need to.
I can see that that's part of this. It's part of the vicious circle that I am it, and then I'm judging myself for it, and then I'm judging myself for it and saying, well, what's the point? I might as well have some more chocolate.
It's like me saying, don't think about a green football. Or don't think about the World Cup. As soon as I mention them, the brain isn't translating the not, it's thinking about it.
Yes.
So if I'm constantly in attachment of what I'm trying to achieve, then my mind is creating all kinds of visions with kind of fear.
Okay, so once again, bringing us back to the practical how.
Okay.
So I get the impression...
You just allow yourself, rather than resist the fear, you just allow yourself to feel it and experience it.
So feel the fear. So feel the fear, and
no, you were going to say feel the fear and do it anyway.
I wasn't.
Just feel the fear. Just allow yourself. So what happens is, it can become a little uncomfortable and disorientating to allow ourselves to feel into this fear. Because in the past we've always resisted it because we're afraid of being something. But if we're moving into a new way of being, the old ways are going to fall away, so it can be slightly disorienting at some point. But rather than make that a wrongness and judge it again, we just need to understand that that's part of the process of getting used to getting back into our bodies and being in a way that we don't judge ourselves, and trusting that inherent person and that drive and that consciousness underneath, that who we are is actually okay.
Because the reality is that all of the judgments are false.
Yes.
It's all an illusion, and
absolutely.
And learn from people who themselves were judging themselves. And so on through the
it's a
generations.
nightmare. If you try and get a girlfriend when you're in ego, and I've done this before, like a lot of people have, there's all these things we think we need to be in order to be right for a certain person. So it's a heck of a job holding that all together. And then you realise that even if you get such a girlfriend, it's just not the way you want to live because it's not who you are. So it doesn't work. So the whole thing comes crashing down. So it's always illusory. The only truth underneath is who we genuinely are.
Yes. And everything else is just covering that.
Yeah. Any resistance to allowing that is ego, or is a form of ego, because we're not allowing the beauty of who we are. So that key understanding helps just to let go of a lot of things.
So you run these courses for wisdom?
I do courses. I do one-to-one Skype coaching. Also have an online course, the first lesson of which is currently free. And teaching videos, those kind of things, and radio shows, anything we can do to help people understand their true nature.
And if you were to take this out with allowing the full possibility and potential of this work, what would that bring about in the world?
Well, it's absolutely crucial. First of all, it's not just my work. There are many people like myself who are teaching wisdom, and they're teaching it from a point of view of non-judgmentalness. So it's not from a case of, you need to be more spiritual, why aren't you in wisdom? It's a case of everything is fine, wisdom is an opportunity. But actually it's crucial for the world. What we're looking to do is facilitate consciousness evolving, because we have all over the place, we have 1 in 2 people getting heart disease, 1 in 3 getting cancer. We have divorce and relationships which are unhappy. We have environmental problems. All of these things, and the economy as well, that, all of these things are currently being run from non-wisdom places. Because they're all about feeding the ego, and they're actually creating more pain and suffering in the world. So if we can teach and facilitate and help people to understand that they're going to be happier by being in their being and taking the judgment away, there's a certain oneness that comes with that anyway. But you're starting to have a population that's going to be able to handle the challenges of the future. And moreover, we will all become healthier, happier. If we stop competing with each other through ego, we could all work 10-hour weeks rather than 50-hour weeks and have twice the quality of life and the wealth. And because have a lot such of our time and resources are being wasted on things that please the ego, the mind tick thing, but actually don't make us feel good. Feeling good is actually is something in the body. Yeah.
It's almost looking at there is something happening, because we keep repeating the same thing and it doesn't work. But James, it's been really a delight to talk to you. And thank you very much for being patient with my need to understand a little more more deeper about what
it always takes time
is.
to unpack,
and it's not easy to do in an hour session. If people wanted to get in contact with you, find out more about the work that you do,
my main wisdom teaching. There's a website for that, which is www.wisdomthecourse.com. And the thing that works most at the moment is simply friend me. I use my personal Facebook account for my work, because that seems to work better. So just Facebook, James Blacker 33. You can find that through the website as well, actually. So the
Facebook is James Blacker
33.
33.
Yeah, there's a link to that from the website as well at wisdomthecourse.com. And
you have another. The other with health. What's the one with the?
Yes, the Wisdom Diet is thewisdomdiet.com.
Diet.
That's a program I've developed to help people be happy with their weight. That has nothing to do with denial of forced exercise, because again, those things are going against the body. They were never going to work anyway, not as long-term sustainable.
I mean, there's something about that, because a lot of the diets have to do with resistance of giving up, and of course, it's like an elastic band, it will spring back.
Elastic band is exactly the metaphor I use. It's all very well doing things from a conscious mind of force if the conscious mind was the only part of us there was, but we are multidimensional beings. That doesn't work.
Multidimensional beings.
We have bodies, subconsciouses.
And we are magnificent.
Yes, we are.
James, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me in the studio, and thank you for listening.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dermot.
On 97.5 FM and online, This is Marlow FM 97.5.